Hi guys and welcome. Today I thought we'd make a little mini art journal. So it's a 6" by 6". And I'm going to show you how to make the cover and cover it. This will be part 1. Part 2 we will look to put some pages in and sew them in. So sit back and have a cuppa and we'll work through this. So I've cut 2 pieces of card. Now this one's quite thick. You don't have to have it that thick, but this is what I had on hand, and I went 8 1/4 by 6 1/2 because my pages are going to be roughly 6 by 6. I'm not going to be too particular about the size of them because I actually like different size papers in my journals. So I want to score it at 2 inches. So this will basically give you a 2-inch spine, so you can have it quite thick. Because as you know, when you start putting textures and fodder and all the bits and pieces in there, it gets quite thick. So I've scored it a couple of times because, like I said, this one's quite thick. And I'm just going to gently bend it over because I don't want to break it. So I just want to fold it over, and we are going to reinforce this with some masking tape. So that's number 1, and I'll just do number 2. So whatever size thickness you're using, don't score right through. You just want enough to be able to make a join there, like that one. Okay, so you should have 2 pieces like that. We'll put our trimmer to the side. So they're going to be laying over like that. Okay, so I like to put the back piece over the top of the front piece, and the reason being, if you turn it over, your join is going to be at the back there like that. So we're going to glue this in. I'll just tease it over a little bit more. I'm not going to push it too far until I get the masking tape on it. Actually, no, we'll masking tape them first, and then we'll masking tape them again when they're glued together, and that'll just double reinforce the spine. Because, you know, we go to a lot of work with our art. We don't want the book falling apart on us. And then I just score it in there to emphasize the join or the fold, and then I just score the tape down just to adhere it, just that little bit extra. So that's the inside, and then we turn over and we do the same on the outside. So this is just Scotch masking tape that I'm using. Okay, so there's more confidence now in bending it, as you can see. So we'll do the other one. Now, this doesn't have to be an art journal, guys. This can be a junk journal, a normal journal, little photo album, whatever you want to make it into. The principles are the same. I'm just doing an art journal today because I want to work in a little 6 by 6. I like the size of them. If you wanted it bigger, you would just have to make your measurements a little bit bigger. You could stay with the 2-inch scoring. So basically you just add 2 inches to your page size to get your spine in. And I just take every opportunity to just rescore that line. Okay, so we've got the back piece we're going to put over the front piece. At this stage, there's really no back piece, no front piece, but just choose which one you want as your front piece. And then glue it down. I'm just using art glitter, but just use a fairly strong glue something that you're confident with, basically. And then we just meet it up to the join, and you do have a little bit of time with the art glitter to wiggle. Go on the outside, make sure that's not poking over the edge, and that you're happy with everything. I just quickly put some bulldog clips on there just so it doesn't move, and I just continue to press. And that's the size journal that you're going to get. We're going to cover it today as well. Now I'm going to masking tape over that join there, and over the outside join, just to reinforce it a little bit more. You don't have to, but I always like to make sure things are really secure. So you can flatten that out, get your tape on, get the tape right into the groove there. And then we've got this join over here too, where it overlays. We'll go over that one as well. Excuse me. Masking tape's probably one of the easiest tapes to work with. If you put it down wrong, you've got that wiggle room to pull it back up. It's easy to tear too, you don't necessarily have to cut it. Here we go, guys, nice and secure. As you can see, we can bend that and maneuver that around now. Now today I'm going to use some gel prints to cover it with, just as a little bit of fun. You can do plain white paper or cardstock over it. So if you've used a thinner cardstock here because that's all you've got, then you can go a bit thicker on the cardstock to cover it with, or you can, because this is a thick one, I'm just going to put a little bit more tape just to even get rid of that. I'm going to use some of my gel prints that have been done on just standard copy paper. I was just going over the joins on there. You don't have to do that. That's just me being, it's my getting it perfect demons that you know, we fight with in junk journals and even sometimes in our mixed media art, because we don't want it perfect. All right, the gel prints I'm working from today, so I've pulled out some scraps, they'll go on the inside, but just I've tried to get similar. They're not perfect, but you know, try to get a little bit similar because I'm going to be doing the front and the back. Now the big decision is to decide which one I want on the front, which one I want on the back. I really like this one for the front, I think. So we'll do the front first. Actually, no, we'll do the back first, because once again, we're going to be overlapping on the spine. Excuse me. So I'm going to just take that slight white edge off there. And then I'm going to glue it. So try and get the pattern, this is a little bit off the edge of the page. Try and get the pattern so there's a bit on each side, because we're going to be covering it over to the inside. So now I want to put just up until that join there and right back here some glue. I'm basically using art glitter for everything at the moment, but I think for a cover you want it to stick quite well. So I don't know whether the glue stick would be enough. and I'm not going to smooth the glue out. I've wrecked too many paintbrushes doing that. So I think if you've got enough on there to tack the paper, because it's actually going to be folded over and secured down, we don't need to be too particular, just more around your edges. I'll have to do some more videos on gel printing. It's absolutely my favorite thing to do. So you want to get your bone scorer, fold, and just reinforce those creases again. Don't be too firm on it though, because we are just working with normal copy paper here. So just rub it in so we get a little bit of a defined, and then we want to just tease it over a little bit. So we don't want it to dry to bend it, because it might rip the paper. I like to do it when the glue's still wet. And I'm just gonna cut the excess off here so we can see where we're going. So cut the wide edges off, which I could have done beforehand. And now we're going to do the front. So once again, I'll get rid of this white edge. You could even, you know, in this case where we don't have two that are the same, which doesn't worry me. I actually like the look of that. But you could put a plain colour. So you could go a white binding over the top, or a black, or, you know, introduce another colour completely. But I actually like the variance in the two patterns. So if we butt it up to there like that, we're going to glue that whole side again. So we had a bad storm cell come through last night with the promise of large hail, but it actually kept going, so we've missed it. It's gone out to sea, so we're very thankful of that. But we have been told that there's a chance of more over the next coming days, so I hope not. We could do with a little bit of rain. We haven't had rain in a while, but it's our storm time of year at the moment, and yeah, just a bit. We don't need rain that bad, because hail can be quite damaging, as we all know. And I look out over the paddocks here, and you know, there's a lot of horses and cows, and you sort of wonder how livestock gets on in these types of events. So butt it up as close as you can go. Don't need to be too particular. I did one earlier, which you'll see it in the thumbnail. Did I not glue that? No, I didn't. So I'm talking too much. That it had a real specific pattern on it. It was black and white checkers, and I'll show it to you in the thumbnail picture on the video here. That I love black and white checkers. It was my thing right through school. You know, I had my books covered in it and just absolutely loved it. But matching the pattern was a bit of a nightmare. On the inside cover, I didn't worry too much, but on the outside I did, because I wanted it all to flow. So some patterns you'll want to flow, some it just won't matter. And some you'll just be putting art straight over the top of it. I want to do another one with collage as well. I've got right into the collaging at the moment with all my gel prints, and just absolutely love it. You can just lay patches of paper down, and it's, you know, a little bit of gesso, how they all sort of come together. So you just want to find that crease there just to guide it for when you fold it. And because this one's the front cover, I'll just be extra careful. Just love this stencil. I think it's a Delusions stencil. I don't know the name of it, but I just love how it's turned out. I'll show you all the different effects you can get with your gel print. So, you know, just with the one stencil. So it goes to show you don't have to buy a lot of things. You can, one thing can give you a lot of different looks. Okay, so I'm just going to straighten this up a little bit and trim the edge down a little bit. So we don't have a lot to play with there, but anyway, we still have enough. So it's a similar book covering technique. If you ever covered your books at school, just make a slit in here, and I like to take a bit out of, I'm not sure the terminology for that. Is it minor joins, or in woodworking? That'll just take a bit of bulk when we fold it over off the corners, and the corners on a slant as well. You don't have to be too particular, as long as you're cutting the actual bit out, because you don't want to fold it and then fold it and have a heap of bulk on the corners. Don't worry about being too particular here either, because we're going to put, when we fold these over, we're then going to put another piece insert on the inside, and it'll cover all your joins. Lovely. So I actually like to put the ends over first, and then I fold these ones over the top of that. You can do it the other way. I just actually like the look, the finished look of this better. So get the glue as close as you can to the edges, because we want the edges to stay nice and flat. And once again, scoring everything down. It also helps to spread the glue out underneath, but it makes sure that all the bits of paper are sticking to the surface. That should be. Oh, I can feel the texture in this paper. It's just beautiful. Just with the acrylic paint. And then we'll do the binder, is it? The spine. We'll do the spine next. Don't worry too much if the glue spills out there, because we're going to be putting a sheet of paper over that. Then we're going to do the top and the bottom. See how you get a cleaner look there. Like I said, you can do it the other way around if you want. Entirely up to you. Try it both ways and see which one you like. At the very least, you're going to end up with 2 journals to play with. Guys, if you haven't had a go at gel printing, if you've got a friend that's got a gel plate, have a go. If not, start with a 5x7 size, so you don't have too much outlay, and just play with it and see everything you can do. You can use some things from around the house to make patterns on it. Bubble wrap will make patterns on the paint. Just brayering it on the gel plate. And then of course you've got your stencils. You can get into layering. There's just something about playing with paint that is so relaxing. Inks as well. You can use inks on the gel plates as well. Inks will stain it, but it won't wreck the performance of the plate. Look at that, beautiful. So now we're going to do the inside cover. So I might have to do a bit of a collagey thing in here because I don't have big enough pieces. But inside you would basically do a strip that's wider than the spine, and then these sides are 6x6. Just cut them down fractionally because you don't want them hanging over the edge. I like that one on there. So I'm just going to cut a bit off the bottom. I use this one for this spine. This one being darker, you could even cut that piece and then put it on the spine on the outside like I was saying before. And I'm just eyeballing this because you don't have to be too particular. It's an art journal or a junk journal. And you can see, even though they're different prints, the theme is the same. So they're sort of matching together in their own way. mishmatching. Beautiful. Now we need something else behind that. We may have enough to do 2 here. Or this being a wider piece, and that. Just going to glue a piece up there just to cover those joints. If you were using normal paper, or you had full piece gel prints enough to do the whole lot, you wouldn't have to do that. But I just want to I guess we're collaging a little bit to If you don't have any papers like this, like I said, cover it in white cardstock or watercolor paper. Get a nice thick bodied one, and put some art on the outside. Throw some paint splatters at it. Put some, or do some stamping on some cardstock. Collage on a bit of either paper or cardstock beforehand, or you could even just collage straight onto the card that you used for the cover. I did that for a junk journal. Did some stamping and used some book pages and just collaged the outside, and it turned out really, really well. I've just got to throw some inks and that on it. I want to distress it a little bit now. Always remembering to just keep your score lines there. Let's throw this one on the back. So I've done a two-sided there, positive and negative they talk about. Trying to do this quickly for you guys so the video is not too long, but then I actually like the longer videos when I'm sitting down to watch them, especially when I'm learning something. Like, you can just sit there and take it all in. And you sort of try and get a similar size border around there when you're working with sort of a different colour. So always make sure, even though we're going over that one, just make sure that, all your edges are down. easier if I put it down flat. I was just trying to hold it up for you guys. Would love you to come back and let me know in the comments if you've given it a try and how it turned out, and if you've done it before or learnt something today. I would love that. If there's anything else that you want me to show you, drop me a line, leave me a comment. If I haven't done it before, we can learn it together. How's that, guys? Absolutely beautiful. And then, so this is part 1. In part 2, we're going to show you how to stitch your signatures in, sort of how I pull my papers together, how I like all the different sizes and that. And, you know, a 2-inch spine you could put, depending on how thick your signatures are going to be, you know, 3 to 4, probably 3, because as we know, these can get quite thick, and that gives you actually a lot of space. You know, you can put a closure on it. You can just put a bit of elastic band around it, tie it with sari silk. But yeah, really love how that's turned out. I'll show you the other one. It's not finished yet. I've only just done the cover, but that's my checkers, as I was telling you before. I do plan to upload this video tomorrow, so I'm going to put a bit of a front, have a play around with the front of that one and put something on there. But thanks, guys. I hope you've learnt something today, or been inspired at the very least to give this a go. With a 6x6 is a great size to work out of when you're journaling in any sense. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video, part 2. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.